Once in a place far away, a very long time ago, there was a boy named Roger. He was tall but a bit round. He lived in a big city where unusual things seemed to happen every day. For example, his uncle died. Anyway, Roger had lots of enemies in the city. All the people he used to like were now his enemies because he changed. He used to be a really successful banker named Ron, but he decided to go another way, and now he is a hobo named Roger. Because of this, his friends thought they didn't like him anymore, so they said, "You are our enemy now." And Roger was like, "Oh no, I have no friends but loads of enemies." Roger lives day to tomorrow by the change he gets off strangers outside McDonald's, but sometimes when he gets enough money, he goes to the local shopping centre called Teco. He can only buy things when they are on sale, so he only buys things when they are on sale because he doesn't have any much money. Sometimes he even gets enough change to buy chicken when it's on sale, and he goes into KFC and says, "Can you cook this for me?" And they do it because they are his enemies and spit in the food. Yuck. Today, on the most windy and stormy and rainy and cloudy and sad of days, he decided he needed to eat and went to Teco. When he went inside, there were no baskets. This was weird. Roger thought that they must be giving them a break today, so he kept going. He saw that the bread was on sale, so he was going to buy it, and then a big fat hairy man ran up to him and said, "No, they're not for you." And he took the sale sign away, which made the bread go back up to $100,000. This is all in the future, so that's normal for the future. He made a face similar to this. And then he said, "But if you don't give me that, I will starve." And the fat man laughed, and his fat went bouncing from laughing. Then one of Ron's enemies died. So Ron felt his anger rising. That happens when his enemies die. And he punched the man so hard that his fat fell off, and the man was so angry that he cried blood. Then the lights went out so fast that Roger knew he was going to be murdered. A black mist came out of the cereal boxes, and the bacon was flying everywhere. Pancake mix splashing over the counters, freezers freezing at higher temperature than normal so that it was freezing the frozen pizzas too much. Ron ran away far away to that aisle that's always full of people. It has like loads of sweets and crisps. Yummy. There was like 15 monsters there, all black with eyes oozing with blood and tears that looked like bacon, but were actually dead people's skin. He screamed, "Fat man, help!" But then the fat man came, he said, "You punched my fat, and now you will pay. I am your enemy." And then he ran and went inside a freezer, but forgot about the freezers froze too hard now, and he died from freeze. Roger ran to an exit and was almost out when he tripped on something. He looked down and saw his enemy saying, "Help me, the pancakes were too string." And then he said, "No, I am Roger. You are Ron's friend, not mine, smelly." And he ran out the door. He was safe. He got out. He escaped. He avoided death. He was alive. He was tall. He was safe. He was Roger. Then he went back in for the bread, but forgot about the monsters. So when he got the bread, the monsters came out between the slices and cried blood from their mouths, saying, "We are your enemies, Ron." He said, "How do you know my old name?" And then they ate him, and he just fell down on the floor crying from death. His last words were, "I am all your enemies." Then he fell down and died. Just before he died, he said, "I will now be a supermarket monster. So when you're in the supermarket, remember that Ron is waiting." In the future though, because it's in the future, remember. This happened around 10 years ago. I was on YouTube, watching IRON 6, but I kept getting a weird feeling like someone was watching me. And then I knew it. YouTube was watching me. I shut off my laptop and ran downstairs. At this point, I was really scared. I called my friends over, and we all saw it. And ever since, I've never gone on YouTube again. So keep in mind, YouTube may be watching you. She is my friend. She is tall. She has long black hair and black eyes with red pupils. She smiles ear to ear, but her teeth aren't sharp. They're like mine. Hi, my name's Carissa Lee, and I'm 12. My mama says not to play with her. She says she is one of them. I ask her, Mummy, who's them? She doesn't say anything. Usually, if I asked her, she'd ignore me for 10 minutes. Her name is Starlight. Starlight sees me as a friend. She doesn't hurt me. She wouldn't. She told me a lot of stories. One about her brother, Jeff. She even told me stories about her life. I told her about my family too. Starlight doesn't like to talk about her sister. She told me she had one brother and one sister. I'd ask her about her sister, but she always told me she's not someone you want to know. I assume she doesn't like her sister. She tells me a lot about Jeff. She says he's creative. Starlight is 26. She always says she's a protector of children ages 0 to 20. Anyone older than that, she says, is a threat. My mom's 30. Starlight doesn't like her. Starlight is nice, but sometimes she comes back sad and red-colored all over dark red dress. She looks sad most of the time. Why? Starlight and I were due to have our playdate today, but she never showed. I sat in my room and waited. Waited for what seemed like seconds, minutes, hours. I gave up on waiting. It was a Saturday night. It was around 7:12 and my mother said I had to come in soon. I heard a scream from down the block, so I went to check it out. I was traumatized by the sight. A woman beckoned a smaller figure to stop. It was Starlight. The younger figure fought against her grip and soon freed. The figure was definitely younger than me by a lot. I didn't see her face. A gasp was heard. Carissa, get out of here, Starlight shouted. The younger figure turned its head towards my direction. It lunged at me. I closed my eyes, bracing for pain, or whatever it was soon to come. But then suddenly, the person was pulled off of me. Everything became silent. I opened my eyes and saw Starlight standing over me, giving me a look of disappointment. She held out her hand, and I took it. She teleported us back to my house, just in time for my mum to call me in. Sorry, I wasn't there for our playdate today, Starlight apologized. It's okay, I said, still shaken up a bit. Don't worry, I'll come play in the morning, she smiled. So, that night I was upset. What had happened? The next morning, I waited for Starlight. If she was coming, I waited like yesterday and soon gave up. 1 week later. I was depressed. Starlight hadn't come back. I was worried. 2 more days. I gave up. I didn't wait anymore. I got up from my bed slumping. I saw a note on my desk and immediately I rushed towards it and read it. Sorry, Carissa, but there's another child who's in need. I'm very sorry. Starlight. I cried. I lost my friend. I'm lonely. And now, I'll never see my friend again. Me and my schoolmates were having a theatre show the same day that it all started. Our parents were a little bit scared of the theatre that we were going to do our show. They told us that little children and workers from the theatre were going missing. Also, strange sounds were heard every time that someone got missing. We weren't scared because probably they were just joking around with us. Anyways, the show started, but just when we were going to start, the power went off. The people of the theatre just started searching the problem, and the parents were getting worried. We were just upset. Then after a few minutes later, everything was silent for us. We didn't hear our parents or the workers of the theatre. We were just alone in the same place without hearing anything. A tiny light started shining very low, and we saw a shadow of a woman approaching. We thought that it was a worker, but then when she got more closer, we noticed that she wasn't a normal woman. She was tall with a grey skin, also a long blue dress, with a black hair, and blood all over her body, and those eyes. Especially those damn eyes, like eyes from an empty soul. They were just white, without expression, just watching us. We ran, each one hide in a different spot. Then the woman started approaching to each one of the hiding spots. When the woman saw one of my schoolmates, she ran towards him, grabbed with her locked hands, and then at the end took him away, killed him, blood all over the place. Then she disappeared. The power returned and the blood disappeared, just as our friend. We never returned into that horrible place. After that, the law decided to close and start investigating. Now every night I see her in my head, laughing, in the same place as the last time. Also one day I dream about her killing the police officers one by one.